there, welcome to our Harkla YouTube channel. We're so happy to have you again here today. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jessica, and we're the Certified Occupational Therapy Assistants with Harkla. And today we're gonna give you 5 sensory activities that you can do this summer.
If you are new here, if you are unfamiliar, every summer we have a summer sensory guide, which gives you a ton of PDF, ebook type resources that you can download and print, and they will save your sanity this summer.
It's a variety of activities and strategies to just help you get through the summer. Our favorite part are probably the calendars. There's a calendar for June, July, and August with a new sensory activity every single day. So you get up and you get your kids going, you're like, let's look at the calendar and see what's next. And it's just such a great way to keep it new and different each day, especially if you have sensory seekers or kids with ADHD and they're always looking for something new and different. This is perfect for you.
Yep. So today's video, we are going to share 5 of our favorite activities from the summer sensory guide, which was really hard to nail down like which ones we were going to choose because we honestly love them all. But we've landed on 5, so we're going to share those 5 with you. And the first one is a water transfer with sponges. So with this activity, you're going to grab whatever sponges you have available at your house. If you don't have any, if you want to just go to the dollar store, grab some.
You could use dish rags.
I was going to say you could use washcloths, you could use loofahs maybe, you could use any type of material that's going to absorb a little bit of water. And what we like to do is we like to put a bucket full of water on one side of the yard or the outdoor area, and then put an empty bucket on the other side of the yard. And you can start really simple by filling up the sponge with the bucket of water on one side, running to the other side, and then squeezing it out into the empty bucket. A couple of reasons why we like this one is because it works on our hand strength. Squeezing that sponge is really helpful, and wringing it out is another really great activity to strengthen the hands, which we know how important it is to have strong hands.
Another reason we love this activity is because it involves water, and most kids like water in some way. Even if they don't like to splash and play in the pool, they enjoy maybe a water table or playing in the water when they have control. So this activity gives them the opportunity to play with the water and have control over it. Plus you're outside, which we know that being outside is regulating. Highly recommend doing this activity barefoot if possible, and try it yourself so that it's not just your child doing it, but you can engage and play with them in this activity as well.
And you can also set it up as like a race where you have 2 buckets and 2 sponges and you're racing to try to fill up the second empty bucket as best you can. If it's really hot outside, you could fill up your sponge, put it on your back, and then crawl to the other side and then squeegee it out, squeeze it out, wring it out, empty it out into the bucket, and then do a crab walk back with the sponge on your belly. So again, you can make it as easy or as difficult as you want by adding in some of those more competitive type challenges, and just make it fun. Just make it fun. Have fun with it.
The next activity is a water balloon towel toss. So you will need some water balloons. Fill these water balloons up with water. Grab a towel and start with you and your child, or your child and a partner. Maybe you have siblings or multiple children, and they can do this together. But they are going to hold the corners of the towel. So one person on one end holding the corners, another person on the other end holding the other corners. Put the water balloon in the middle of the towel, and at the same time, both partners are going to fling the towel up to throw the water balloon in the air, and then try to catch the water balloon in the towel so it doesn't land on the ground and break. Once you have that down and you've mastered that part, if you have more people, you can have 2 sets of partners with the towels and try to toss the water balloon to the other people who are holding the towel, and then they try to toss the water balloon back to you. You're catching it in the towel, and you go back and forth and see how many in a row you can get without the water balloon falling on the ground and popping.
So as you can probably see, you can probably understand, this sounds like a really fun game to play, right? Like we're playing, we're having a great time, we're laughing, we're challenging ourselves. But this is an activity that we would actually do in the clinic every summer because it works on so many underlying skills like bilateral coordination, holding the towel with both hands.
Oh, hand strength.
Hand strength, force modulation, knowing how hard to throw that balloon in the air. Did I say timing and sequencing? Because timing and sequencing is a really big part. And just really working on the eye-hand coordination as well, and teamwork and communication. So it's a really great way to work on a ton of underlying skills all wrapped up into one game where kids don't really even realize that they're working on these underlying skills because they're just having fun, and it's lovely. So definitely try that out.
Make sure that if you have water balloons that do like pop and break, that you are having your children pick up all of the pieces and throw them in the trash so that they don't get left out.
Number 3 is to grab some chalk and write the ABCs on the sidewalk. If you have a big trampoline, write them on the trampoline because chalk on the trampoline is always really fun. And then you can draw a path between all of the letters, and the child can walk or crawl or, do a balance beam, heel toe walk from one letter to the next while they're saying the letter, while they're saying a word that starts with the letter, while they're spelling a word, while they're writing it on a piece of paper. However you can make this applicable to where your child is at, do that.
You could even make it more simple and just match the letters if you have a child who's not quite reading and writing age, but visually you're working on matching the letters. Maybe you have a letter puzzle and you can have them match the letters from the puzzle to the letters on the sidewalk. And this is just a really great multi-sensory activity to work on those underlying skills of visual perception, some motor planning and body awareness if they are walking along the path between the letters, or maybe they're driving a car and so they're getting down on the ground and getting some really great full body heavy work by being on the ground and crawling. So a really great multi-sensory activity that kind of also addresses some of those academic skills in the middle of summer.
Love that. Number 4 is to make Ooblek. If you don't know what Ooblek is, let us explain it to you. You're going to grab 2 cups of cornstarch and you're going to add 1 cup of water, give or take, and you're going to mix it around in a bowl, and you're going to kind of get a weird texture, and you really won't know if it's a solid or a liquid, because if you have it in like a big bin and you can get in with your feet, if you like run on top of it, you'll stay on top of it, but as soon as you stop, you'll sink down. It's so cool. So it's like a solid, it's a liquid. You can pick it up in your hands, you can make it into a snowball really quickly, and then as soon as you stop and you let it like melt, it will just melt through your fingers. So it's a really fun texture to play with. You can do all sorts of fun things with it, but it's a great summer activity to do outside because you can just spray it off and just clean it up.
This is probably one of my favorite messy play activities because children who don't like to get their hands messy, they're a little bit tactile sensitive, they still enjoy the Ooblek because they can kind of touch it and it doesn't really get their hands super messy until they start really playing with it and getting into it. So it's a great introduction to some really great messy play. I also like adding some food coloring to it to make it a different color that changes it up. But just a super fun, simple activity to do outside, and because it's like a sensory bin, you're gonna have like hours of your child just playing in this Ooblek sensory bin and maybe giving them some coins or some toys to play in with it to keep them entertained and using their imagination to just go after it.
If you are doing it outside, I do recommend, and you have like more of a tactile sensitive kiddo or an avoidant kiddo, I would have like a warm bucket of water next to it so they can play, and then they can rinse off as needed and then go back and play. So just having that accessible cleaning station will be really beneficial.
Yes. Last activity that we're going to give you today is probably one of my favorites and is great for a really hot summer day. Takes a little prep beforehand, so day before you're gonna do this activity, get a large t-shirt. It needs to be a little bit bigger than what your child would normally wear, so maybe one of yours that your child can use. And you're going to get it wet and like scrunch it up into a ball, maybe put it in a Ziploc bag, and that wet t-shirt is gonna go into the freezer overnight. Next day, it's really hot, you're ready to do this activity, you pull it out, take it outside, and your child is gonna have to like peel it apart while it's trying to kind of thaw out. Maybe they need to pour a little water on it to help it thaw out because it's so frozen, and then they're gonna put it on.
We would always do frozen t-shirt races or competitions at the clinic. So we do this as like a little group activity, and we'd freeze our shirts, bring them out, and have the kiddos race to try to peel them open and open them up and put them on. The first kiddo to get their frozen t-shirt on wins. Obviously, it's super fun, friendly competition, but you can also do this with your kiddos, with the siblings, or with friends, or yourself. Just make sure that you freeze enough t-shirts in there to give everyone an opportunity, because as silly as this sounds, again, it's working on a ton of underlying skills like hand strength and that sensory processing, even that interoception, because you can talk about the different temperatures and cold and hot. How does it make you feel when you put it on? Does it give you the shivers? Do you feel calm? How are you feeling?
I mean, it's also gonna work on that self-dressing skill to be able to put the t-shirt on and then take it off. Maybe you wanna work on some buttons, so the t-shirt that you froze is actually a button-up shirt that they have to work on fastening those buttons after they get it open and put on. So, like Rachel said, the hand strength, the bilateral coordination, lots of underlying skills with all of these activities that we've given you today.
Yep. So with that, we hope that you can take these ideas, implement them, try them out. Make sure that if you do try these, take a quick video and tag us on Instagram. We love to see you doing these activities. Tag us at Harkla_family or at All Things Sensory Podcast.
And if you love these activities and you want more, we highly encourage you to check out the Summer Sensory Guide. It's going to be linked in the description, and you can get these activities plus a ton more that you can use throughout the summer.
Make sure that you are listening to our podcast if you aren't already. It's on all major podcast platforms. It's called All Things Sensory.
If you liked this video, make sure you click the like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the Harkla YouTube channel.
And with that, we will plan on seeing you next week for another video. And 2 buckets, or 1 bucket and what? Let me try that again.
And 1 bucket and 1 sponge and this and that.
Okay, let me try that again.